Letters fly off a spinning globe from the US, UK, and Australia to spell SGK Studios present an Audio Pizza production.
Dependence to independence and the tech that takes us there. Coming up next on Audio Pizza. Hello, Kayaker here. Welcome to another edition of Audio Pizza. It's freezing once again, but spring is in sight. I hope Garth is cooking down in Australia, but we'll hear from him in a sec. But I am freezing my buns off. Sean, are you freezing your buns off in the shed?
Of course I am, but what beautiful buns they are to freeze off. Oh, that was inappropriate. Anyway, hello. I'm very cold, sat in a shed, but it's all good. Let's go over to the hot man in Australia, Garth.
It is summer. You would never know it here in Melbourne. It can go from 43 a couple of weeks ago. The next day was 32, and the next day was 20. So
it's about 20 to 32 here, but you're talking Celsius, not Fahrenheit. So
I don't know what that means.
You do so, Sean.
I forgot my name. That's fine.
No,
actually, I don't. Right? I'm going to put my hands up. I'm a 52-year-old gentleman that has no idea the difference between, what is it? I don't even know what there is. Celsius, Fahrenheit, and there's another one, centigrade. What's that?
Well, Celsius and
centigrade and Celsius are the same.
Well, why have they got different names then? Is that just to confuse me?
It's called centigrade. It's called centigrade. Yes. It's center, like centi, 100. Yes. There's 100 intervals between freezing and boiling of water. That's where that's where it comes from.
So why are we saying Celsius?
I don't know.
Believe Lord Celsius was the person who came up with it.
Is that true?
It might be. I don't know.
But that's the whole Celsius centigrade scale. Freezing point to boiling point of water. 100
Well, that makes sense. Which one do we use over here in the UK?
Centigrade.
Of course we do. Common sense. Good British common sense.
Common sense.
Okay.
Well,
0 degrees, the water is frozen. 100 degrees, it's boiling. Not this bloody, it's 120 out. We can dead if it was 120 out.
Well, Ernst von Fahrenheit, or whatever his name was, he was the German or Dutch or somewhere in Europe. He did the Fahrenheit scale, but the Fahrenheit scale is based on what he thought was the lowest possible temperature. 0 was supposed to be the coldest you could get something to go. And then
anything could ever be. Yeah.
And then 100 was supposed to be the body temperature. So that's where the Fahrenheit scale comes from.
Can I just say, this is quite possibly the worst intro we've ever done.
Yeah.
So what the hell are we talking about today? I didn't understand your intro there, Kayaker. What?
No.
Well, before we jump into that, I do have a little announcement to make. And when this drops, it should be about a week and a half or two before the CSUN conference in Anaheim, California, which is the California State University of Northridge Accessibility Conference. It'll be held out at the Anaheim Convention Center in California. I will be out there on the Wednesday and Thursday that the exhibit floor is open. I believe that's the 11th and 12th, or I think that's the right dates. And if you want to get in touch or have anything that you want reviewed, send us an email, and I'll make sure to visit that booth and report on it next month when we talk about what happened over at the CSUN conference. And if you want a beer, probably Thursday's the best day. Anyway, so send an email, and I will report for you whatever you want to hear.
Shake hands with the kayaker. You can do that at CSUN. I'm sure he won't charge much. So have you been to CSUN before?
This will be my first time out there. So,
really?
First time.
Yeah. Are you looking forward to it? Are you anxious? What?
The anxious bug is starting to kick in a little bit, but yeah, it shouldn't be too bad. It's a direct flight to LA, Uber to the hotel. Yeah, it should be okay.
I love LA.
Yeah.
Uber, that's it's not as close as I thought it was from LAX. It was.
I think it's about a half hour or so based on the estimates that that's what the hotel reports. Whether that's really like an hour with traffic, who knows? But
an hour. Yeah. It's probably under an hour then.
Do you know what though? Once you get in there, it's great. Because we're all there together, right? Hooray! It's fantastic.
No, that's why I'm staying at the Hilton right next door.
Oh, you're staying at the Hilton?
Yeah. It's connected. It's all connected from what I understand, but it's just...
it's across through the fountains, yes.
Yes,
okay.
yes.
Very cool.
Yeah, so don't fall in the fountains. You gotta go.
Don't give him any more things to think about.
That's so I can avoid the blindies and less blindies to bump into, I think.
I
just meant... No, well, have you?
Self-hating.
Oh,
Sorry.
please come and say hello. Please come and say hello. I might try and avoid you the rest of the time.
No, it's not that. It's not that. It's that random thing. Have you ever been out in a train station, actually like smacked into someone with a cane before? It's like that rare. Okay, and you yell at each other like, "Why did you see me?" And you realize you're both blind, right? Well, imagine that times 100 at like the NFB conferences or conventions or the ACBs. It's just it's scary. So I tried to stay at a less crowded hotel to minimize the probability of particles smashing into each other.
That's part of our lives. What are you talking about?
I
must have
know.
walked into at least 6 things today already. I love it.
Yeah.
Embrace the bumpage. That's what I say.
Exactly.
There's an episode title.
Exactly.
So have I, and it's only 7:30 in the morning.
But no, I'm looking forward to it, and it's kind of leads us into what we were going to talk about, which was, what does it mean to be independent versus dependent, and does anyone really care at this point? This came up in a conversation I was having with some friends about, do they feel independent to get out and do things? And I'm like, well, no one's really independent. It doesn't matter. It's like you're not like growing your food and building your own house and.
Well, hang on.
You have to depend on something at some point, but do you feel
certain levels?
Yeah,
we depend on a pilot to fly.
yeah,
the
exactly.
airplane, right?
You're always dependent on something, but is your life existence? Would you say you are independent? And I think that's an interesting question. And where do we draw the line? And does it really matter as long as we're getting through day to day?
I guess it is about how you perceive the situation.
It is. But some people take it very seriously. Like this goes back to some extent, like. When I was at the ACB convention, someone didn't want them to push the elevator button because they wanted to do it themselves. That they needed that independence. They felt like they needed to have that.
To me, that sounds like my 5-year-old son at the time. It was his turn to push the button.
I absolutely agree with you. I think that's just rudeness. That's almost getting in the way. Yeah, that desire for independence is getting in the way of everyday life. I mean, that's just wrong, isn't it?
Mm-hmm.
I think so. Anyway,
I think so. Yeah. I don't know. I don't know how much of a discussion we can have because I think we're all pretty much on the same page. I was talking to some friends about this yesterday, and I think what I felt and what a lot of them were saying was that really it's about choice. It's about having the choice to go and do something, whether it means you are so independent you can walk and get public transport and so forth, or whether you choose to get an Uber, or whether you choose to get a support worker to take you to this place. And depending on the situation and the place you're going to, you might choose one thing over another. But the independence comes from actually having the ability to make that choice. And I want to go and do something, and you can go and do it. If you need to get help in certain ways, or if you need to get a pilot to fly the plane for you, then it doesn't really matter. You've had the independent. You're still independent. You're still making choices for yourself.
Well, the question I have for both of you guys, and this is something that I'll probably answer myself as well, but what daily task do you dread the most? Do you loathe the most, that takes up time, that you get frustrated, that you can't really do easily? What is your task of daily living that you have the hardest time with?
There isn't one for me.
I don't really know. Yeah. One thing I get annoyed about is putting something down and not knowing where the heck I put it down. Like you'll be cooking or whatever. You've got the sharp knife out and you've put it on the bench, and then you're doing something else and you're like, oh, far out, where's that knife? I just put it down. Where is it now? Yeah. So that gets annoying. But I don't really have I don't know what there would be that is my most feared thing.
No, I don't. There isn't anything. I get slightly anxious. I take the dog out in the morning, absolutely fine. Do you know why? Because I take him out early. There's barely anyone around. I need to take him out in the afternoon, which is usually someone else's job in the family. But if they're not available, I take the dog out in the afternoon. There's more people about, and I feel more anxious about that. But it's a very small issue. I think the bigger... It
doesn't stop you taking him out.
No, exactly right. I think the bigger question around this is I've tailored my daily life so I'm comfortable in the tasks that I do. Is there anything that I wish I could do that I don't do because I'm too anxious or because I don't think I can do it?
That's a good question.
And
that's a very interesting distinction, yeah.
Yeah, and there is. I mean, when I go out around here, I feel absolutely fine. I don't feel anxious at all. And when I go to places such as the train station, right, I don't feel anxious. I've got a trip coming up to London. I don't feel anxious about that. If I'm going somewhere unfamiliar, I've never been before, I do feel anxious. And I do think, if I need help, where can I get? Have I got the Meta Ray-Bans in my pocket so I can beam my eyes, or I can drop in with someone in case I get lost? Because I have still got lost in my familiar surroundings on my street. The other day, when you think you're turning left and you end up, actually, I'm going completely the opposite direction and I can't figure out.
Yeah, somehow.
And I can't figure out how. So, okay, I figured out I'm going the wrong way. So I'm going to go back to a place I recognize. And I went back to the place I recognize, the corner of the junction. I know where I am. And I did it again and went up the wrong way. And I could not figure out where I was going wrong.
Were you on the wrong corner? Because when I usually have that problem, I accidentally do the diagonal crossing.
That's exactly what I did. Yeah, that's exactly.
Yeah.
And I knew I did it because this feels unfamiliar. I know that sounds strange, but as blind guys, we all get that.
No,
right?
no,
Yeah.
I totally get
it. This doesn't
Absolutely.
feel right. It doesn't feel familiar. But the point is, I went back to where I knew I made the mistake and made the mistake again, and that kind of freaked me out. But the point is, look, that's unfamiliar, and that happens very rarely. And I don't panic in that situation because I know I can get back to somewhere familiar. But in somewhere I haven't been before, I do worry about that sort of thing. So I try not to be in those situations. And that's a lack of independence, isn't it?
I guess so. Well, is it a lack of independence? Jesus,
It's a definition of independence, right?
It's definitely, yeah. It's definitely allowing your fears to override what you want to do. If you avoid doing something because of your anxiety around doing that thing, but it is something you would like to do, then I guess you could perceive that as a problem.
I always remember it, Garth, when you came over to me and we went to, not Manchester, but we went to another local town, right? You've never been before.
Mm-hmm.
I live here. I've been, but I haven't really, I don't spend a lot of time there. And you were quite happy to just, find your way around. It blew me away.
Yeah.
Now, that for me is true independence. See, I wouldn't do that unless I could.
But that's just me being an idiot and not caring if I get a bit lost. Like, what's the worst that can happen?
Well, that's independence, though, right?
Fine.
You don't care.
Yeah.
That is you being independent. And look, there's also, let's be serious there. There's also, I don't care, I'm going to put myself in danger as well. But you weren't like that.
No, I wasn't. I didn't think it was a dangerous situation.
When you speak the language, I think it definitely helps. When you travel to, a country where you can't speak the language, then
absolutely
that can be a little more scary. I've had great experiences in the UK, but even so, it's still, even in my cities, just sidewalk navigation, because we're all cow paths, like everything's curved and it's not grid-like in Boston or Cambridge. It's very higgledy-piggledy. And
like most places, I think.
But I mean, I find New York a little bit easier because it's somewhat grid-based in the main drag, so you kind of have a sense of which way you're going. But Boston is very, the streets were designed by cow trails and which way the cows roamed. And it's difficult to navigate as a pedestrian for sure. But going back to you, Sean, did you use any tools to get you out of your little diagonal crossing situation? Did you rely on the tech? Did you have to use Be My Eyes, or did you just sort of? Okay, so how'd you get out of your sticky situation with the tech?
I'll tell you how I got in this situation in the first place. Because I had my gloves on, I had my Meta Ray-Bans on, I had my phone in my pocket, as I always do. I forgot to turn on Voice Vista. And the reason I use Voice Vista is because it gives me those, intersections. And it just means that I can turn off for a minute and not think. And then when I get to the end of the road where I need to turn left or turn right, I need to turn left, I shouldn't turn right. I've got a marker placed and it says, end of the road. Oof, God, that sounds depressing. But that's what it says. And when I hear that, I know, if I cross over now, I'm going to hit the other side of the road before the turning, and I just follow the curve of the curb, right? And I'm good. I didn't. And it's like, I've got my gloves on and I've got to try and unlock my phone, take it out of my pocket and open. It's fine. I don't really need it. I know this route so well. And of course, I walked too far and ended up hitting the far side of the junction. And then, oh, this must be it. I'm walking up the road. And yeah, I just made the mistake there. So anyway, when you get that realization of, hang on, this doesn't feel right underfoot. I think I'm going the wrong way. I did get Voice Vista out, or Soundscape, whatever you like, and, my location. So let's figure out, I'm on the road, at least I think I'm on, right? It's all about getting those, and then I turned around, and the beacons and markers that I have got set sort of gave me the orientation. Okay, so that's over there. I've got my house, obviously, as a marker, so that's over there. So I quickly reorientated. Oh, that's difficult to say.
Revisualized where you were.
Exactly. So I was able to figure that out, and I thought, right, I go back this way, and then I should be back to where I should have gone the right way. But I still did it again. I couldn't quite figure out why. But technology. Without technology, I would have panicked a lot more. I think I still would have. I have got that under control a lot more than I used to. I mean, because now I've got no visual anchors whatsoever. I can't even see if there's a house next to me. I've got no difference between the sky and the rooftops, which I used to use. You know what I mean? So it's like, yeah, I can see there's a house, there's a roof there, so there must be a house, and now there's not, so that must be the junction. I can go up the road there. Well, I don't even have that anymore. So it is, it's surprising how quickly you come from being comfortable and just, strutting down the street until you get to, oh no, I have no idea where I am and no reference points I can go off visually. So this is where you do pick up the tech. And of course, the final thing for me is making a WhatsApp call to a member of the family. Because Be My Eyes is great, but not having that mapping capability means I don't use it very often for things like that. Ira, on the other hand, is fantastic, but I'm not into getting that WhatsApp link and getting that call. I haven't really done that so much. So it's far quicker to call somebody that knows the area that I'm in visually and asking them to get me around.
Okay.
So I think that using your beacons is sort of the key. If you're in a familiar area, setting beacons at your key landmarks is a great tool to help you overcome that sort of situation where you get misled or disoriented a bit to get you back on track. I use that a lot as well. I've got my beacons set all over the place for the corners of my property and major intersections and different sides of the street. So
corners of your property?
What is vast acreage?
You want
well, no,
yeah.
that's
East
only
wing,
because
West wing, music room, library,
No,
tennis
it's
court, swimming pool.
Sorry, it's only because I need 2 data points to get a bearing. So if I have my house, I want to know exactly which side of it. I without having the second data point, I don't know necessarily if it's to the right or the left. Having at least 2 helps you with that.
Triangulate.
Yes, exactly. You need 2 for dead reckoning. You need 2 points. So,
have you asked your Meta glasses, where am I?
I have not done that. Have you?
I have. Yeah.
And does it work?
That's the first thing I did.
Oh.
Well, the first time you ask it, it will tell you what city you're in. So then I learned, okay, what street am I on? And it did tell me the street. Which is quite cool.
Good tip.
It never used to.
No, it didn't. Exactly right. And I don't know how consistent that is. Again, with AI, right? It's like, do I want to try and wrangle with it and trust what it's saying anyway, when I can just pull out a GPS app on my phone and know for sure?
An actual app, yeah.
But just saying, it's something I realized. It did get it right. And I've tried it a few times since just to double check. And, as long as you say what street am I on, it does seem to get it right.
I'd say, going back to what you're saying about how, when I came over and it seemed like I was very independent, I think that was largely based on the fact that I had internet. I had my phone. I had access to Ira. When I went to, this is like 2019, I think it was, 2019 when I came over at that time. And I was flying into Greece and flying out of Heathrow and meeting my friend who was living in Norway at the time. And so I was flying into Athens, and I got a call or a text from him, like well, I'm already on my way, saying, I'll be a couple of days late to Athens.
What?
Yes.
Oh boy.
He was chasing a
Of
girl.
course.
You know how it is. Of course, yeah. Anyway, so I got quite like he said, but don't worry, the guy that we were going to be staying with anyway, his friend in Athens, will pick you up. I'm thinking he doesn't know what I look like. He's, how big an airport is there in Athens? I don't know. So yeah, I was pretty anxious. And the thing that really makes a difference.
He was holding up a sign saying Garth.
No, thankfully. But whether or not I would have internet access when I got there to be able to communicate with him. And I don't think I had organised to have a SIM card that would work in Greece at that stage. I thought, it'll be easier just to get one there because I'll be with my friend. We can go and get a SIM card and it'll be fine. So for that whole trip, we went through, and back then anyway, it wasn't as easy to get cards that took you to multiple places all across Europe, it seemed. Like, had all these individual little, SIM cards for different countries. And we went through Greece and Italy and France and then over to the UK. And the anxiety came each time when I had to make sure that I had internet access again.
Well, there you go. There's another definition of independence, isn't it? Without the tech.
Yeah, I'm dependent on that. I'm dependent on my iPhone.
Yeah.
Oh, I think most people are these days. I don't think it's just us.
No,
but it has gotten a lot easier.
Reasonable? That takes us down to the root of, when people get so annoyed when someone says, "Will let's say the Meta Smart Glasses help me with crossing a road?" No, you can't use it. You can't use that. And so many people get militant about O&M skills, right? I get that, absolutely. That's right. But are we sort of reinforcing that by saying so many people are dependent on their tech? If you're getting anxious because you don't have an internet connection.
Yeah. Is that unreasonable?
I don't think it is. I think it's just a matter of convenience.
No.
Right? It just makes your life easier.
You can get assistance if you need it easily. Yeah. Which takes away the anxiety for me.
Well, I'll tell you a story of when I could see a lot better back in the 90s when I was out at WWDC at the developers conference. A friend of mine who was out there, we went on sort of a trip in the car, sort of right along the California coast near San Francisco. And to get over to San Jose, where the convention was, you have to go through these mountains. And this was before there was good cell coverage and cell phones. And he was low on gas, and we were having maps, and we were trying to figure out how the hell to get back over to the highway that was on the other side of the mountains from the trip that we went down as we were running out of fuel. And, it's not just us who need the internet connection or access to, technology or communications.
Yeah.
It's, any place where you lose the cell connection or you don't have access to the internet. I don't even think we probably had cell phones, but they weren't certainly smartphones back then. So,
did you not have a WAP on your Symbian?
No,
phone?
I had a Motorola Elite.
Oh,
Motorola
gosh.
Elite. Ooh. Yeah, it was a thin flip phone. Yeah, it was good.
Do you know what though? Does it matter? Does it matter if you class yourself as independent? I mean, at the end of the day, who?
No.
Some people like to
prove?
feel that they're independent. Yeah, I think what you need to do is just grow your skills. I mean, well, I'll throw it out. Both of you two have younglings that are out of the house. Are your kids independent?
Yeah,
okay.
Pretty much.
Well, again, definition.
How do you
of
define it?
independence. I mean, financially.
Do they do their
yes.
taxes and food?
No, I mean, my kids still live with me, so from that point of view, no. But I mean, they don't need me for anything. I suppose that's the difference. The need. Sometimes I do need help, whereas I couldn't do something myself. Usually, it's to do with mobility. But
yeah,
I'm trying to think of anything else. But again, I come back to the point of what are we trying to prove?
I think, young blind people often have a lot to prove.
Yeah.
And I think we've probably all been through that phase where,
I can do it.
I can do it myself. Yeah. Where you want to prove, I can do this.
Don't press that button for me. How dare you?
Don't press that button for me. I can still press. I can find my own button to press. Thank you very much. Yeah. And I think that's part of growing up. It just manifests differently as a blind person. If you're someone who's blind, I think every child goes from being a child to an adult through a very long process of learning how to have independence, learning how to look after themselves in whatever that is like. It just sort of manifests in a particular way with blind people, or we focus on it in a different way because those skills that we have to learn are different from what a lot of other kids have to learn to become an adult.
But don't you feel like there are times where, because of other people, maybe family members or whatever it may be, people aren't given the chance of independence in our community?
Absolutely.
Oh, yeah.
And that's why they feel the need to prove sometimes, maybe.
Yeah, maybe.
Because they've been so
but some people embrace
done
that,
for.
right? They don't. Maybe they just, because they're told they're dependent, that they don't feel they can be independent.
So do you think part of it is being raised with a disability? Like, is there a difference between us who've lost our sight over time versus the person who's been blind from birth, say, and they're being extremely sheltered by their parents that doesn't give them their independence? I think we've all had friends that sort of have stories like that where they weren't allowed to do certain things as a child.
Definitely. I think there is differences, but that's, there's differences between people all the time. But how the child has been raised makes a huge difference in terms of, and I think it's also about what are you happy with. So
it's true.
Someone who's lost their sight, right, and even like later in life like us, now we're used to cooking on a hot stove, but now that they've lost their sight, they're really not comfortable with it.
Mm-hmm.
Okay? And so, would prefer not to cook. Does that matter? If they're, they might like getting Uber Eats in, and maybe they get a bit more prepared meals than the next person might. But who cares? What does it matter?
Because they're not being independent, Garth. That's the point. They're not representing us people with disabilities in a good light, because it's kind of, it's proving people's perception that we need help, that we're useless, that we can't possibly survive on our own. I don't believe that. I'm just saying.
No, of course you don't. Yeah, but really, what is the problem?
No, absolutely not.
If there
is no problem with that. I don't think, anyway.
Look,
the only time I have a problem is when how it makes me feel. And maybe that sounds really selfish, but I think that's what affects us, how we interact with other people, our personalities, our feeling of, if we're happy or depressed or whatever. It's our perception of ourselves. And,
yes.
If you feel like you're struggling, or you feel like you need help with something, or you just feel like you're useless, of course that's going to have an impact on you. So
that's when it matters.
There's so many different factors, like with so many things when you're living with a disability. It's not just black and white, right? There's so many nuances to it. How people treat you, the perception, how you manage your everyday tasks, and also if you feel like you've got a purpose. Wow, this has got deep very quickly.
Yeah. But, Sean, I think you hit the nail on the head. I think that independence for one person might be completely different than it is for another person. Absolutely. It's how you feel internally, and are you satisfied with what you can do? Maybe you won't feel independent until you can cook a gourmet meal. Maybe you won't feel independent until you can navigate your city. But as long as you can do some things, then maybe that's not important to other people. So it's your internal goals that makes you feel independent and what makes you happy. And I think that's the ultimate win. It's like you need to feel good about what you can do and be damned to what someone else says.
It's not even about what you can do. I would sort of frame it in terms of what where your life is. Like, how your life is. Your day-to-day life. Are you happy with that?
No.
Really? I love my life.
Oh, yeah. Well, you live in Australia. Of course you
freaking
do. You're
paradise.
so
It's 28 degrees Celsius.
Celsius. No, I'm joking. Carry on.
I don't even know what I was saying now. It just underlining really what you are saying. It is about your own your own perception of your situation. That's the important thing. more than I can do this, this, and this myself.
Yeah, there's not a list, right? There's not a set list that you got to tick off that, okay, can you do this on your... Can you make a cup of tea? Can you make yourself a sandwich? Whatever it may be.
Can you spread the butter evenly?
I was just going to make the butter remark. Some people, that's their Achilles heel, right? I think Stephen said to me the other day, why are my light switches all covered in butter? I don't know. You really need some living skills. But I mean, we all have things that we struggle with and other people go, well, it's dead easy, right? So I don't know. But you are absolutely right. For the longest time, I felt absolutely like, what's the point of getting out of bed? Because I had no employment. It's like, what's the point? Now, that wasn't anyone's outside perceptions or me being dependent on anyone. It was just my feeling of, what's the point? I've got nothing
to do. It's your own
do.
internal dialogue.
Yeah, exactly. And, I think there's lots of people like that, but that you get to a point, and I thought, I got to do something. And I started volunteering and doing whatever else. And it was really difficult to get out of bed the first day and try and find the tram and whatever else. But once I started it, and it did make a difference. And, that was down to me getting the motivation and doing that. And I felt better. Again, that's all internal. That wasn't any external factors whatsoever. It was just me feeling better about myself. I think you're right. I think that's what it comes down to. How do you feel about what you're doing, no matter what you're capable of or your dependence or whatever else anyone else says? How do you feel? You feel you're missing out on anything?
And is there some small thing you can do if you are in a situation where you're not feeling as though there's a good point to get up in the morning? Is there something small you can do to change that just a little bit?
Yeah.
And that may involve learning a new skill, or it may not. Yeah.
Well, we talked about it before. It's all those little victories, right? Friend of mine going out and going to the ice cream van outside his house. A massive victory. And you can, especially if you've got someone to share that with who understands, who isn't going to go, well, what's that? That's nothing. What are you talking about? Getting yourself an ice cream?
Yeah, good on you, mate. I could do that anyway.
Yeah, exactly. You need to talk to someone who understands the anxiety of, you planning out in your head beforehand, and am I going to find it and whatever else. It's those little victories that really do start to build you up.
Well, this might be the shortest episode ever.
Yeah, I think we sorted out disability there.
It's funny, we all live from the same perspective to a fair degree in terms of having had sight and lost it relatively slowly.
That's true, actually. We're not diverse enough.
No, we're all white,
yes,
middle-aged males,
yes,
grumpy, except for Garth.
Yeah, all to a man, our peers.
To a man, our peers.
Are you X-linked?
Yes.
Kayaker?
Don't know. There's not enough male history in my family. 7 sisters, 7 sisters.
Ah, right.
All
okay,
sisters.
isn't that a film?
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah, there's an opening at Audio Pizza. If you think you can help fill our diversity quota, then please. SGK at theblind.ninja. Talking of something, I can't remember who brought it up now. I think it was you, Garth. It's something I miss, right? It's really, I don't know, it pricked me today. 2 things, actually, today. Firstly, I found myself doing something that I really didn't like. And I've given it a name, and it's going to be really offensive, and I apologize, but this is what I call it, blind face, right? I found it felt like my eyes were crossing, and I was not, when you got nothing to lock into, and it feels like your eyes are just floating off. And I had to tell myself, stop that, because it's getting too comfortable of just looking up into the middle distance.
Okay. What you're saying is you notice that your face is doing some sort of expression where your eyes are just not focused on anything. You're just looking blind.
Yeah, looking blind. See, now that's a really good point. Again, it goes down to perceptions, right? Why do I worry about that? If it feels comfortable to me, like I've noticed when I'm walking now, sometimes I've got my head down, my face pointing down. and I've made a conscious decision to try and lift my head up and get my posture sorted. And even though it feels comfortable to me, should I worry that I don't want that to become the norm for me? Right? That's weird, isn't it? I don't know. Again, it comes down to, you know, we talk about
I don't think so at all.
sometimes.
Because
I sometimes try and look blind in some situations because I tend not to do the blind face, to adopt your term.
Yes.
Too much, when I'm out, or ever really. I've probably got a little bit more light perception than you do, Sean, still, but I'm still getting to the point where, is this light on in here or not? And I've got to turn it off or on again to see which one it was.
Yes. Yeah.
When I turn it off and on, I can tell, no, it was definitely off before, or it was definitely on or whatever. But because I always was used to looking at people, if I go into a shop and maybe I've just got my white cane and I'm holding it, it's not, even if it's out in front of me, people don't notice always. Well, you're behind a counter, right? They don't see the dog, whatever it is. If I am looking at them, they're trying to make eye contact with me and say hello and start it's your turn to talk now, mate, thing. And I have no idea. So often I'll walk in and look really purposefully look up at the ceiling, or not the ceiling, but
Yep, exactly.
Unfocused.
Yeah.
Look unfocused.
So
that they might realize that, I'm not going to pick up your eye contact signals, buddy.
Do you know what it is though? I do that. There's so many deliveries I get at this house, right? Whether Amazon or whatever it may be.
Yeah.
And that few seconds, it feels like minutes, but that second or two of someone realizing, hang on, what's going on here? What's wrong with this guy? Because I'm holding out a package and he's got his hands out, but he's not grabbing it.
He's not taking the package.
And exactly. And that second you go, he's trying to figure it out.
Yeah.
Is this the point where I chuck him a bone and go, yeah, I'm blind, mate. Can you just... And they, oh, yeah, of course. Sorry, mate. Yeah. It's fine. Sometimes I don't. I just, whatever. You figure it out.
Anyway, sorry. Now, number 2.
Number 2. Okay, yeah. Feeling of missing out, right? Where the blindness is getting in the way. So apart from blind face, let's not make that a thing. I'm so sorry, but I'm just... Anyway, it's just when your face is totally relaxed and just doing its own thing. Anyway, what I'm saying is, I read an article on the new, Boston Dynamics Atlas, the humanoid 6.5 foot robot, which absolutely blew me away when I could see the videos and spot the robot dog that was, running around the place. I love that stuff. Well, it's had a massive update. And now it's walking around and doing cartwheels, and it can correct itself if it falls over halfway through. And, it sounds absolutely amazing. And of course, this is in preparation of it actually being deployed into the workplace. I don't know, Hyundai and Amazon, who are, in 2028 looking to actually employ the Atlas. But the point is, there were so many remarks on how human-like its walking was. And just for a second, I thought, I'm never going to be able to see that and be blown away by it. Do you know what I mean? And there's the odd occasion. And that's like nothing. It's not like, I'm never going to see, my children smile again, or the celestial majesty of the nighttime stars. It was,
you want to see the walking robot.
It's weird stuff like that really grabs me. The other one was the Rocky Horror Picture Show. Everyone watched that? The Rocky Horror Picture Show.
Yeah.
Apparently, in the opening scene at the church, when they're singing, "Damn It, Janet," or whatever it is, right? The Frankenfurter and Riff Raff are at the church. And I never saw that, never noticed it. And now I really miss that I'm never going to be able to see that is. So there you go. There's my absolutely ridiculous.
That's hilarious.
Points of, I hate my blindness just because I can't see a robot walk. But it's weird things like that sort of, God, just make you know what I mean? But it's not going to send me into days of depression. It's just like a minute of, God, that's annoying.
Bloody blindness.
Bloody blindness getting in the way of the Rocky Horror Picture Show. Do you not have anything like that? Are yours all really deep and meaningful?
I'm sure there are. I can't think of a good example right now, but it is funny. Every now and then you just get this thing, basically.
Mine was the James Webb Space Telescope. missing the ability to see those pictures. That's something that I really wish I could see. But it's interesting when I asked the initial question, like, what problems do you have, or where do you run into trouble? I was expecting you or someone to say shopping or going into a store, and Garth kind of hit that point where he sort of doesn't be able to make eye contact with the worker at the counter. How do you feel independence-wise when you go into a coffee shop or a store or a grocery store or a restaurant, and you're in this new environment for the first time? How does your independence feel in those situations?
I don't like it.
Yeah,
because it is challenging.
Yeah.
Same with shopping in Woolies or whatever. I used to be quite easy able to go and find the service counter and get some assistance if I needed to. And now that is not as easy, and even walking through the shopping centres themselves can be somewhat challenging. It's a situation that's not comfortable. With that, well, let's come back to the coffee shop one, but with the groceries, for me, being independent is being able to get on the app and do the Woolies shop. I can browse lots of... Woolworths is the sort of shopping centre we use. So Woolies app is... Australians, we shorten everything, right?
We had Woolies in the UK. It just went bankrupt a few years ago.
Did you?
Yes.
Oh,
and we
that's
called
nice.
it Woolies too.
Well, it's not nice. There you go. So anyway, for me, being independent with my grocery shopping is doing that. If I need to, like occasionally if I'm out for a walk and I'm going past the shops and, hey, we need some milk, I'll go in and I'll get milk. I prefer not to, but I'll do it. It's just not that comfortable doing that situation. Whereas another person doesn't like, may not like using the app and would much prefer to get a support worker to take them around and do the grocery shop because they want to feel all the fruit themselves or whatever it is, which to me is not important. The coffee shop, on the other hand, I probably have had situations where I've gone, would be nice to just sit down and have a coffee, and haven't done it because I didn't want to deal with I don't really know where the counter is and all that sort of stuff. So I guess my mobility skills or lack of them in that situation is affecting how I'm living my life a little bit sometimes. Other times, I'll be quite happy to,
hang on.
I'm with Geordie, whatever. So we both want to have a coffee, so therefore there's more reason to get over it.
We're going to make it
and
happen.
Actually just do it. Yeah, we're going to make it happen.
Wait. Are you saying you're missing a mobility skill that would help you out in that situation? I don't think you are.
Oh, my own comfort level or whatever.
Yeah. No, that's the point, right? There's times where I can feel in the mindset that I can deal with whatever reaction I'm going to get. Because isn't it more about if you get one of those horrible situations where someone doesn't know how to deal with you at all, and it makes it awkward and horrible, sometimes I can deal with it. It's fine, just, if you could just do this for me. Other times it's like, I just don't have the patience for this. Forget it. Yeah. And that does make you feel bad, right? Because it's one of those awful experiences. I also think it's down to what we now class as being independent. Because I can walk into a shop, as you mentioned, Kayaker, and now I will just stand there. If I walk into a coffee shop, rather than trying to find my way around tables and find the counter, obviously I'll stand there for a second. I will listen. Can I find out where the till is, where the desk is, wherever? Can you hear something? And I'll take a few tentative steps with my cane and try and, okay, it feels like this is a path, maybe that's a carpet or whatever. And you try that. But a lot of the time, it's so much easier now because I am blind. And maybe it is because of my blind face, but I don't have to explain myself. When I did have some vision, it was so much more difficult. Now it isn't.
Yeah.
Now it's so much easier because people just know. And 99.9% of people are absolutely fantastic and want to help. And maybe they're not be offering, great help, but they want to help. And for most of those situations, I just go into a place and the help is offered. Now, I think that's me being independent because I can get done whatever I want to get done. I can get my coffee. I can get my groceries. But to other people, that's me being dependent on the assistance inside. right? So it's all about perception of what you think is being independent anyway.
Oh, I think it's being independent. You're being more independent than I am in that situation
Yeah.
because I'll probably walk past the coffee shop and I don't want to deal with it.
Yeah. Well, again, it does come down to how you're feeling that day, right?
That day,
Yeah, I would agree with you, Garth, because I think that's the hardest part about traveling for me when I'm going to, a hotel or a new location and dealing with the unknown restaurant, the unknown coffee shop, the unknown bar, the unknown hotel lobby. Initially, it's extremely difficult and it makes me feel anxious. And there are times where I would just say, yeah, it's not worth it to try to get that morning coffee sometimes. It's tough.
I think it's about your own mindset at the time.
Yeah.
Like when we were doing traveling around Europe most recently when we saw you, Sean, because we were doing it every day, it sort of was a new adventure every day and you perceive it like that.
Yeah.
Whereas when you're in your own hometown, there's nothing exciting about going off into your own hometown to get a coffee.
Yeah.
As there is when you're in, Ireland or wherever you happen to be.
Mm-hmm.
So,
Do you know what, as well? There is sort of strength in numbers. You know what I mean?
yes, absolutely.
Yes.
When there's a few of us going through it all, like when, as I mentioned, when we went into the town centre, Garth, I felt absolutely fine. And we were all
How much fun was that?
Oh,
The four of
yeah.
us
just whacking around, going up the street.
whacking around this shopping centre.
People diving out of our way. But, when you're all together, it feels like, well, we're all in this. If I was on my own, I
Yeah.
would have felt far more timid, I suppose, is
Yes.
the answer. But, I think...
Is that because you're feeling more of a community and not alone, sort of a member of a group? Is that part of the mindset as well?
It must-
Sean?
Is he human?
Yeah. Well,
Well,
no, I mean, because we were all in the... Maybe it's that
Yeah.
the spotlight is sort of not
Yeah.
directly on you. Maybe it's a selfish thing.
Yeah.
Maybe it's that, hey, they're not just looking at me. Look,
only
Garth's walking
25%
into
of the attention's
window
on
as
me.
well.
Yeah.
Oh, there's four of them to pity.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's right.
But at the end of the day, does it matter? I mean, we had a good time, right? And it didn't.
Yeah.
We went for a meal. We went in that pub, and
That
okay,
pub,
where's
yeah.
the bar? I went in when we walked in. You know what? You feel
But you get into that phase of not caring
Not
and just
caring, yeah.
doing, right?
you
Yeah.
feel braver, and
Yeah.
it's a better experience. Whereas you do feel different when you're on your own. So everyone, group together.
Yeah.
That's the answer. Come on, brothers and sisters. Is that it? We've fixed everyone's problems?
Yeah, well, I think that sort of is an interesting discussion and sort of gives people a little bit of perspective of what independence is and what it means to us. And I think the conclusion is it really is up to you, whatever you feel comfortable with your level of independence. If it works for you, good. And make yourself happy and try new things and push it. Maybe get a buddy and try that coffee shop when you walk by it instead of walking past. All right. Well, again, remember, I will be at CSUN this year in 2026. Send us an email if you want a particular booth or vendor to be interviewed, and I'll try to make it happen. And if you're out there, let me know. We'll try to say hello.
He'll be a bit of a celebrity, so look out for him and just go up and say hello. Don't even worry about if he's interviewing anyone at the time. Just barge in
Barge right in.
and say, you are a kayaker, I claim my $5, and he'll pay up.
Okay. No, who said anything about $5? I'm collecting $5 for
He's collecting
for Garth. I'm collecting $5
Oh, yeah, sorry. Give him $5.
for the autograph. $5 to get the autograph.
Seriously, though, do say hello.
And again, if you want to reach us, you could reach us at sgk@theblind.ninja. That's our email address.
That's sgk@theblind.ninja.
sgk@theblind.ninja. Thanks so much for listening, guys, and we'll talk to you next month.
Yeah, with news from CSUN. Bye.
Bye. You did say run session.
So session started.
Oh, this is intolerable.
I think mine just said something different.
Do you want to double check?
No, not at all. It's fine.
Is it going?
NVDA and end recording. Yes, I am recording. Are you all recording? No answer. Okay, cool.
What?
No,
What?
that's fine. No, let's just wing it. No, that's fine. I'm not so self-assured.
Right.
Are you ready?
We're ready.
Okay.
Eyes ready.
Are you going to give me my count in, Sean?
All right, hang on. Let me get comfy. I'm not comfy here. 3, 2, 1. Cue Kayaker.
Dependence to independence. Which are you and how do we get there? Coming up next on Audio Pizza.
Really?
And if we could try that again without blowing down the mic, that'd be great.
Seriously? Okay, we can do that again. All right, give go again.
3, 2, 1. Kayaker.
Dependence to independence, and the tech that takes us.
There it is.
Is there something wrong with my mic levels?
You know what? Doesn't matter. Garth will fix it in post.
Well, Garth,
Can you deplosive?
Yeah.
should I stand back a little bit? All right, I'll try.
Just
All right,
fine.
one last time.
don't
Try
talk.
talking. Try talking across it.
Across
Sorry,
the
Garth,
microphone.
Don't get annoyed
Yes.
with me.
No.
See,
No, I was
the
just
internet.
coughing. Try talking. I
No.
wasn't getting annoyed at you.
You
was
were.
getting
You were
annoyed at
getting
me.
frustrated and angry with me.
Apparently,
I'm sorry.
No. Jeez,
Coercive control.
buddy.
Are you? Look, doesn't matter. This time is
Whatever
in. Right, here we
happens,
go.
happens.
Sorry, I'm being a dick. 3, 2, 1. Kayaker.
Right.
That was beautiful.
Yeah, that was a lot better.
All right.
Yeah, well done.
I didn't know we were going to be talking about that, but
No,
that's
I
fine.
sent you the
yeah.
memo. Okay.
Yeah, news to me.
There we go.